is I, your honorable sensei, and across from me,
the vicious scumbag.
And together we are Longturnlarry Podcast. And today we're getting seduced, Mommy, by a frog.
And boy, is she beautiful.
She thick as hell. And them thighs are made out of thunder. She is Sunen, Luxa, Embodied. She is 3 generic, green and a blue for a 6/6 legendary god. She is reach, trample, and indestructible. She can't attack or block unless she has an even number of counters. And at the beginning of your first main phase, put a +1/+1 counter on her. Then, if she has an odd number of counters on her, draw 2 cards.
All hail the frog mommy.
Aww. All hail the frog mommy. She essentially is like a funny enchantment that sometimes draws you 2 cards. But we want to break the synergy. We want to draw and attack with this frog savior.
That's right. We want our cake and we want to eat it too.
And before you eat your cake, I need you to like, comment, and subscribe so you can get more thick cards.
Oh, mommy. So we have to pay for this big booty amphibian goddess. And to do so, well, we're Simic, so we got to ramp. So we're going to cover the more important ramp pieces. We have Harrow, and then those that consider the butt to be large. We have Entis Restoration and Fanatic of Ronas. Of course, we care about counters, so we have Defiler of Vigor, Incubation Druid, Kodama of the West Tree.
You're from the West Side.
Rishkar Pima Renegade. Of course, we also need to draw.
You know, Frog Mommy already has card draw stapled onto her, so we don't need a lot of card draw, but what we want is like a burst. So that's why we have Return of the Wild Speaker, Rishkar's Expertise, and Season of Gathering.
Pay them the beans.
Fathom Mage and Polywog Prodigy. We are in +1/+1 counter synergies. There is no way we could leave without them. And finally, Primal Empathy. That essentially will draw us an additional card, or if we're smaller than the biggest, get a +1/+1 counter. And now we're going to double up because, you know, if you have an odd number of things and you double it, it becomes even. You have an even number of things, you double it, and it's still even. We're trying to even things out with our frog mommy so she can always attack those against our odds. First, we're going to the Court of Garenbrig.
You are about to enter the courtroom.
Order.
For the Monarch, we get counters, double up, stuff, double. Hydra's Growth, Invigorating Surge, Colonian Hydra, Mrs. Tumblewag, say Mrs., and Vision of Dominance. All of these have doubling effects, and they will always even out our frog mom. Now, these next effects only give us 1 counter, so we need to double up on these effects so we can always keep my baby even. We have Dreamtide Whale, Evolution Sage, Forgotten Ancient, Merfolk Skydiver, and the Quilled Great Worm. And finally, we have the Rootcast Apprenticeship.
Look at them frogs.
I said finally, but we going to sneak attack. We have Fire Shrieker. It gives us double strike. It don't match with anything else, but it got the word double in it. I don't care.
That's right. We're going to hit you twice with a frog bomb. Now, we may not be frogs, but we're about to go sage mode. These are things that make our frog goddess untouchable. We have Assassin's Den, Herald of Secret Streams, and Skatewing Spy. These are all cards that make Frog Mommy very hard to block and deal with. We, of course, want to protect our goddess, so we're running Guardian Augmenter, Innkeeper's Talent, and Plaxcaster Frogling. These, of course, are giving us either ways of Shroud, Hexproof, or just making it to where we have Ward as well as other benefits. Lastly, we have 2 in here that adore what we're doing and give us support with Evolution Witness returning cards and Herd Baloth building us a board.
Up next, these cards are believers. They drink the Kool-Aid with us so we can be sages. These are our Longturnlarrys. First, we got Daniel Pink.
Oh, please call me Danny.
Oh, Daniel. He states that whenever a creature gets a +1/+1 counter for the first time, we will then draw a card. This works really well with any proliferate effect. Our Moly Mole, who's super moly. Drill works mole. He buffs himself. He evens out our commander. He's a 1-drop. What is there not to like about him?
He's such a powerhouse. It seems so innocent at first, but what's crazy is you get him out early, and then by the time you're playing Frog Mommy, he's already kind of bigger himself, and then he turns into our little turnkey clock. Thank you, Mole, for being so good.
Mole.
Hadana's Climb. My goodness, there is not a more powerful enchantment for our frog goddess. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. This means if we want to go to combat with the frog mom, we just pick her and we're going to put the counter on her. And now she goes from being odd to even, and she can now swing. Then, if that creature has 3 or more counters on it, transform Hadana's Climb. This turns into Winged Temple of Orizaka. And it's just, at first it's like, oh, cool, it taps for any land. Who cares? For 3, a generic green and a blue, you can tap this, and target creature you control gains flying and gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is its power. Even if we were doing nothing here with the frog and she somehow had no counters, this would make her a 12/12 flyer that is just incredible. A flample that has almost no interaction and is indestructible. You better watch out for the frog mom.
She's gonna leapfrog.
We couldn't be talking about the thickest frog without talking about the thickest in the thicket, because it's her. For 5 mana, 3 generic green, we get an enchantment that states when it enters, we put X counters on a creature where X is its power. So Frog Mommy gets 6 counters if nothing else is on her. And then at the beginning of your end step, you draw 2 cards if you control a creature with the greatest power or tied for the greatest.
Her ass can never be tied.
Never.
Never. And finally, this child scientist engineers thickness. When you go to combat, you get to put a counter on up to 2 creatures. And if you're a good little boy, she might double that up.
Zimone is so powerful here because, again, we love these triggers that say at the beginning of combat, you then put the +1/+1 on, because having that May ability makes it to where if she's already even, we don't have to put a counter on her, because then, of course, she could already swing. And then the beauty of it is doubling, which is Zimone's second effect, allows us to always make the frog into an even number. Remember, mathematically, correct thickness is the key here, because we're trying to take advantage of both sides of the frog. So we always want to be able to either put one on or be able to double it and then later still get our card draw. We want to make sure we're getting both.
And this can be done at instant speed. So, if she's already even smashing in and I could take like 10 commander. And are you sure?
Yeah, it won't kill me.
It won't kill me.
Yeah, tap Zimone, death. So we have plenty of ways of making her super thick. So we have to find the most devout followers. We have to get those key pieces to make our frog temple perfect. So come, Larrys, we must tutor up the knowledge. So we have Eldritch Evolution, Neoform, and a very close to the heart Defense of the Heart. Now, defense is very specific here because it allows us to search for up to 2 cards, specifically creatures, and put them into play.
And that's where I come in and say, happy birthday, clone.
I'm not the clone. You're the clone.
You think that you remember the things that you thought you remembered, but I actually remembered them first because you are a vile duplication. This creates a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except for the token flies. And it's not legendary. And that's pretty much the case for all of our cloning effects. We want to have multiple mobs.
That's right.
Like a weird cult.
Exactly. What's better than not 1 frog, but 2 or 3 or 4 or 5?
Sister wives.
That's right. Sister frogs.
So we'll go down the list. We have Sakashima 2 times because that's 2 clones.
Ooh.
We have Quantum Misalignment, which has Rebound. Crazy. Spark Double makes your mom a little bit thicker. A little bit thicker. Just a little bit. And then Automaton Soldier has Myriad, which is scary.
Thus, the rationale behind these clones, Larry's, is if you don't have an effect that allows you to put a +1/+1 counter onto your glorious frog, by having a clone of one, as long as the clone is not brought in at the same time as the other one as it's being even, then every other frog is able to swing. So the whole key here is you clone her when she's odd, and then every frog will then be even and odd. It rotates.
Or you could be a degenerate like me, and you want to draw 4 cards and attack twice.
Exactly. No, that's the other beauty of it. If you don't want to rotate them, then you're doubling up on this effect. So no matter what, it's very beneficial. You either have multiple swinging frogs or a big swing with heavy card draw.
I call that a menage a trois.
A menage a frog.
Now, when she's too thick and she's got high heels on and she drops on your face,
You're about to be
corrupt. Some of these cards are just here to protect the mom, protect the creatures, or, she's indestructible. So she's going to survive, but nobody else is. So an offer you can't refuse. Give them that tip money and tell them no. Arcane Denial. Give them that tip money and tell them no.
Here you go, baby.
Mutational Advantage gives permanents with counters on them. Hexproof and indestructible. Do we really need the indestructible? 2 times. And then prevent all damage that will be dealt to those permanents this turn. Then proliferate. Nasty work. Nature's Lore. Pesky artifacts and enchantments. Give us some life for it. Here you go. Nevril's Disc is a card I didn't think I would see in here. But it is. We just blow up everything. The board's too complicated. The frog mommy can't get in. There's too many blockers. Yeah, they get to see it coming.
It's not Nev's disc anymore. It's Sab Sunen's disc. because she's naturally indestructible. So this just turns into a one-sided, I mean, who cares about our board? They don't have one either. Die to the frog.
Save this for the last opponent and pray that they can't blow this up. Ram through is something I want to do. Ooh. That's and right. It might surprisingly just kill somebody when she drops those cheeks on them. Stubborn denial is when you try to take her on a date, but she doesn't know what she wants to eat. But that booty is thick, and she tells you, no, I do not want Chinese food. And finally,
you must wave goodbye.
I hate seeing her go, but I love seeing her leave.
Ooh, I hate it when you go, but I love watching you leave. This is just a one-sided for us. We're going to return everything that doesn't have a +1/+1 on it. So shout outs to the +1/+1 gang. You're chill. You can stay.
Winning.
Yeah, winning. But the rest of you, you are not frog worthy.
Fuck out of here.
That's right.
And that's it. All hail to the frog mom. If you down with the thickest, you should be down with the Larrys.
That's right. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so that you can get more frog content.
I am your honorable sensei, and across from me,
the vicious scumbag.
And together we are Longturnlarry Podcast. Bitches.